What's up guys, Sci-Fi Guy 2094 here. In this video I'm going to be talking about a perfect actor who would have been the ideal choice to play Victor Von Doom, aka Doctor Doom, for Marvel Studios' Avengers Doomsday. But instead they went with Robert Downey Jr., which was the worst possible option. Not to say that he's not a good actor. In fact, he's too good of an actor because he basically brought the MCU to life from its inception all the way throughout his tenure in the MCU and then his final moments as Iron Man where he sacrificed himself. So him being the face of the MCU, he's very prominent, but because of that, he's absolutely the worst choice they could have gotten for Doctor Doom. So I don't know why Feige decided to do that, because now, of course, Robert Downey Jr. is not playing Tony Stark in Iron Man, but he's going to be playing Victor Von Doom. So it's a different character, but here's the catch. Nobody's going to see him as Victor Von Doom because he's just so prominent in the MCU as Iron Man, right? Like, nobody's going to be able to even think, oh man, like, this is Victor Von Doom. Finally, he's facing off against the Fantastic Four and the Wakandans. Everybody's just going to be like thinking, oh, Iron Man is fighting his former teammates. Even though he's not Iron Man, people are not going to be able to get that out of their mind. At least I wouldn't. If I'm watching Doomsday, I'm not going to be able to take it seriously as like, this is a villain who has like a vendetta against a different universe or against the Fantastic Four, whatever the case may be. And especially for people who don't necessarily follow the MCU super closely, like they'll just, go to the bigger movies, Doomsday, Spider-Man. They're going to be confused because they're going to be like, wait a second. Iron Man came back, but now he has a different suit of armor. Like, it won't click for the people who aren't exactly big MCU fans that have been there from like the very beginning and that watch every single project. So anyway, it's not going to make a lot of sense. It's going to be super weird and bizarre. But I'm going to be talking about an actor who should have been cast for this role, but unfortunately, well, it's not that he wasn't chosen. It's just that Marvel, Feige, and the Russos, they actually didn't hold open auditions for the role of Doctor Doom. They basically only offered it to Robert Downey Jr., which was kind of weird that they didn't even think to hold an audition for like, who could be the best person for this role? Previously they would, look at different actors and they'd audition them and then they'd be like, okay, he's a perfect fit, which was, traditionally a good idea. That's how we ended up with Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, and he was probably the most accurate casting in a movie that we've ever seen, other than maybe Heath Ledger's Joker or Kristen Bell's Batman. But anyway, this would have been my pick for Doctor Doom. So he's an actor by the name of Alex Hog Anderson, and he, I believe, is a Swedish actor. And I found out about this guy because I've been watching Vikings. Like, I've just been binge watching Vikings for like the past like 3 or 4 weeks, right? So this show is like a epic historical type of supernatural and somewhat fantasy, a little bit of that in there, but it's mostly like an action historical epic, right? And so this actor Alex Hog Anderson is he plays Ivar the Boneless, right? So Ivar the Boneless is the son of Ragnar Lothbrok. And the funny thing is, when I started watching this show, I thought it was just like some just some made up show to kind of like entertain people, which that's true. That's what Hollywood is at its core. It's entertainment. But when I started looking up the characters and stuff, I actually found out like, oh, so these are actually real people, or at least the versions in the show are actually based on real people. Now their portrayals may not be like super accurate because, for example, I believe Floki, who's played by Gustav Skarsgård, who's the master shipbuilder, I think he actually lived during a time where Ragnar was not actually alive. But in the show, he's like Ragnar's best friend, right? So I guess historically, like, not everything lines up, but overall, it's historically accurate, right? With the time period and them going to England and things like that, doing raids. But anyway, Ivar the Boneless is one of Ragnar Lothbrok's son, and he is, unfortunately, he's born with like a deformity, right? So his legs are very weak, his bones are brittle, and he basically can't walk, right? And so in I think it's like season 2 or 3, basically Ragnar just leaves him out there to die, because it's like, what use could he be, right, if he's going to be crippled? So his mother saves him, and she brings him in, and like, she loves and cares for him like a good mother should, right? But anyway, I'm gonna make a whole separate video going into like how much I love this show. But Alex Hog Anderson should be Doctor Doom, and I'll tell you why. Because when he plays Ivar the Boneless, this guy he's not pure evil, but because of his upbringing with him being not able to walk, it definitely did something to him, to where like he was somewhat shunned, and he didn't necessarily have like a normal childhood, although of course he got like love from his mom, and obviously being the son of Ragnar Lothbrok was like a huge advantage, right? But man, like, this guy, he eventually starts leading this army, and this guy puts on a great performance as Ivar the Boneless. He's cold, he's calculated, he's pretty intelligent, he's strategic, and he's just got this stare, like when he's angry or when he's frustrated or mad. Alex Hogg does a great job, and he just conveys so much emotion, especially with like the evil stares, and when he's impatient. Like, Ivar the Boneless is generally like, I mean, genuinely terrifying. There are people who are, they're physically able-bodied people, and they're more capable of him physically, but they're still really scared of him because of how terrifying his intent and his mindset is. And he's basically wanting to go to war, and I'll cover that in a video that I'm going to do on season 5. But basically, this guy is the real deal. Alex Hogg Anderson, he just does an amazing job portraying Ivar the Boneless, and I think he could just completely embody Doctor Doom to like every small detail, whether it's like the way he walks, the voice, like the evil stare, the mindset of Doctor Doom. Because Doctor Doom is, yes, he's a genius, but he's an egomaniac, and he's a narcissist. And not narcissist like Tony Stark narcissist, but as in like he's narcissistic and he's power hungry, like he wants to take over the entire world. Whereas Tony Stark is like, yeah, he was pretty narcissistic, but he actually tried to use his technology and his gifts for the good of mankind overall. Whereas Doom is like the opposite. Doom is like, he thinks everybody should worship him, right? So he's got all these Doom bots in Latveria, which are they're basically programmed to actually behave like the real Doctor Doom does, to where like I think each individual Doombot thinks it's the real Doom. So like it's super crazy how obsessed with himself this guy is. But I just think Alex Hogg Anderson would be the perfect choice to play Doctor Doom. So it's really a shame that they didn't actually audition anybody. Like they didn't think to look at people from Game of Thrones or Walking Dead or Vikings or other popular series or popular movies. They're just like, hey, let's get Robert Downey Jr. because that'll get people excited, which to me that makes me less excited that they have an actor that they've already used. To me, I would have liked to see somebody take on this role, make it their own, and just become kind of like a household name, just like Robert Downey Jr. did with Iron Man. But anyway, if you have not seen Vikings, check it out. Now, Ivar doesn't come in till like season 3 or 4, but you definitely want to start this show from the very beginning because it's just that good. But once Ivar comes onto the scene, and he has a pretty big character arc, he's very important in the show as one of Ragnar Lothbrok's sons. But you will see exactly what I mean. I mean, this guy's range is incredible. I'd never heard of this guy until I saw Vikings, but he's a very talented actor, very impressive. Like, he knows his stuff. I believe he could go anywhere in Hollywood if somebody would give him the chance. So that's the other thing. I'm going to make a video about Hollywood and why they're just using the same actors over and over, because it's getting kind of annoying to a certain point because there's so much talent, but it's like they're not really looking for the talent anywhere. They're just recasting the same people. But anyway, that is my topic for today, and let me know if you guys have seen Vikings, if you agree that Alex Hogg Anderson would be the perfect Doctor Doom for the MCU.